Hi, and thank you for taking the time to review our senior project on the implementation of a digital scheduling solution for healing alternatives in San Luis Obispo. I'm Krista McAllister.
I'm Ann Shields.
And I'm Haley Mallon.
Our administrative advisor for this project is Dan Waldorf, and our technical advisor is Carla Karickner. Today we will be covering the following topics. First, we will introduce healing alternatives and their current state. Then we will state the problem and discuss project's objectives and our literary research. Next, we will mention healing alternatives' key constraints and requirements that prompted our design process and led to the testing and integration of our final solution. We will then conclude with our business case and future recommendations. Healing Alternatives is an acupuncture clinic located in San Luis Obispo. They have 2 acupuncturists and 1 office manager. Healing Alternatives provides a range of acupuncture services as well as offers an herbal pharmacy. This organization currently uses MindBody, a popular wellness business management software, for their business operations. They currently run inventory management, payroll, and online shopping cart through this software, but are unable to incorporate online scheduling in the digital platform. They have thus reverted back to paper scheduling. Acupuncture appointments can last for 60 or 90 minutes depending on if it's a new or returning client. Either way, the last 30 minutes of all appointments are reserved for clients to cook, where they relax alone with needles in place and no acupuncturist is needed. Healing Alternatives would prefer to have an overlap booking scenario as seen in the image on the right, where an acupuncturist could begin with one client and then start on another client during the 30-minute downtime at the end. The customizable time blocks MindBody currently offers does not support this situation. To get a better grasp on the current business market, we surveyed competitors within the San Luis Obispo area. Our findings show that 75% of clinics do support online scheduling, with half the market using MindBody. Our problem statement is as follows. Healing Alternatives uses MindBody software for their online business needs. However, the digital scheduling solution options are not compatible with the time-segmented structure of Healing Alternatives appointments. Currently, clients cannot view online availability, and Healing Alternatives has reverted back to paper scheduling. Healing Alternatives would like to resolve this issue while retaining other SaaS benefits, online inventory, payroll, etc., so that they can become entirely digital. Since part 1 of our senior project, the project scope has been revised to fall into the 4 following objectives. The primary goal is to create a digital scheduling solution for both employees and clients to use. Other software services must also be available and compatible with the created scheduling solution, meaning we will need to import all client and business information and push over all currently scheduled appointments. With the new system in place, we plan to implement a standardized process for using this software through training and documentation. All of these objectives will need to be ensured in order to generate an entirely digital information system for Healing Alternatives.
The literature reviews that guided us to our final design all fall into the following categories. Multiple articles were case studies of software implementation processes in the wellness industry. A lot of research also went into the selection and integration of management information systems specifically for small businesses, which have all unique abilities and needs. Testing and evaluation methods for this project were also gathered to ensure our validation process was unbiased. Lastly, we gathered data on the software packages other local companies use with similar demographics. To begin the design phase of our senior project, Healing Alternatives gave us key requirements that were defined as their must-haves, and then secondary features which they felt aren't necessary but would ideally be included. The key requirements include digital scheduling that allows for overlap booking, payroll reports, a way to track commission on products sold by certain acupuncturists, inventory management, a budget equal to or under the $100 $24 amount they pay now with MindBody, and an overall user-friendly experience. The secondary features include a way to put the scheduling widget directly onto their site, an online shopping cart to market their herbal products, direct deposit for acupuncturist paychecks, and a way to store clients' insurance and billing information. With these lists, we were able to begin our search for Healing Alternatives' most optimal software package. Our preliminary search included contacting and demoing around 15 of the following internet service providers. More interviews with Healing Alternatives revealed constraints that would reduce the number of possible vendors, namely that Healing Alternatives invoices must be customizable and linked to their inventory. With this in mind, only 3 service providers were able to move to final testing. The final alternatives were AccuSimple, Acuity Scheduling with the QuickBooks integration, and Square. Unfortunately, none of these software packages have features that meet all of Healing Alternatives' wishes. This table shows the pricing and requirement coverage that each alternative provides, with the yellow circles being workarounds for those items. Once all requirements were identified for each option, a value stream map was created to isolate each business activity to a required software service. This was to help identify the extent of the interconnections between the two software services and allow us to predict which workarounds would be comparatively more useful than others for healing alternatives.
To test the validity of each design alternative, we utilized Mouse Miles, a software program that tracks mouse clicks, keystrokes, and trackpad distance. We use this program to perform user experience testing for the appointment scheduling process on the client side for each alternative. The results showed that Acuity Scheduling was the most user-friendly booking tool, as it required the least amount of clicks and shortest mouse distance to schedule an appointment. After pricing evaluations and client experience trials were completed, conversations with Healing Alternatives took place to present our findings and give recommendations. Healing Alternatives rejected AccuSimple for their inability to house a workable payroll system. They also rejected Square, whose workaround for overlapping appointments was foreseen to be too cumbersome on the server side to use. Although Acuity's payroll system is not linked to inventory tracking, its ability to generate reports of a practitioner's monthly appointments made is a satisfactory workaround for Healing Alternatives. Additionally, QuickBooks commissioned invoices and linked inventory tracking led Healing Alternatives to give us the go-ahead on implementing Acuity in QuickBooks in a 3-phase move plan. There were many activities involved in implementing Acuity scheduling in QuickBooks onto Healing Alternatives' current website platform. The integration process required setting up both software demos with their real information, reformatting their CSV files for data imports, setting up tags for QuickBooks Commission System, embedding Acuity scheduling widget onto their GoDaddy domain, and blocking off all future appointments to avoid client-side overbooking. After initial setup was complete, we showed the owner and bookkeeper how to use both software programs. Shortened instructions and links to relevant information were then sent over to further assist this transitory phase. We plan to continue being their primary support contact until graduation. We broke up this integration work into 3 phases. The first phase included setting up Acuity scheduling with their business profile and manually transferring over future client appointments from their paper bookkeeping. A week following this, we returned for phase 2 to set up their business profile in QuickBooks and import all current inventory levels. For phase 3, we were able to capture every client's information in both platforms and spend a few days cross-checking to ensure all information was accurate and up to date. As mentioned previously, Healing Alternatives does not have the ability to schedule overlapping appointments. This has significantly limited the amount of clients they can see per day and does not utilize all of the practitioners' available hours. Now, with the implementation of Acuity scheduling, clients are able to book overlapping appointments. In turn, the practitioner's time is spent more effectively as they are able to serve as many patients as they can in one day. This change also impacts Healing Alternatives' bottom line. Using the availability of each of Healing Alternatives' practitioners, we calculated the current number of customers they are able to see per week. Now, with the overlapping booking feature, the practitioners will be able to serve an additional 56 patients in 1 week. This translates to an 86% increase in appointments and an additional $3,300 in profit. On top of that, Acuity scheduling will also save Healing Alternatives $468 annually in operating expenses, a 32% reduction from their current MindBody package. Additionally, the online scheduling feature allows the bookkeeper to spend more time on value-added services for the company and less time booking clients. The time invested into this project is so valuable because Healing Alternatives lacks the technological aptitude and resources to carry out this project without help from a third party. Finding a solution with an acceptable level of operability would have required an initial startup cost that was either resource exhaustive or immensely expensive for Healing Alternatives. There are also soft considerations to make as well, such as MindBody's recent price increases that forced Healing Alternatives to have a reduced Bare Essentials service package and QuickBooks scalable offerings. Bookkeepers' time will now also be saved that inventory tracking is on a trusted system. Ultimately, Healing Alternatives is able to once again trust their software system and remain competitive in a technologically dependent market. Due to time constraints, we were unable to incorporate an online shopping platform where clients could search through and purchase herbal medicines. Because these medicines are prescribed, Healing Alternatives does not want clients or online visitors to actually be able to purchase items without their approval. In other words, only clients they have met with are allowed to make purchases. Instead, they would like a system that generates customers' orders and is linked to QuickBooks inventory tracking system. A website page is currently in place where clients can see available medicines, but Healing Alternatives has said that with a high turnover of stocked items, keeping an updated version of the pharmacy will be hard to maintain. Hopefully, future industrial engineers will be able to help this great local business find a solution. Thank you for taking the time to listen, and we look forward to hearing your feedback.